Dark Brandon, he's rising up. The Patriots are activated. Stand back. Stand by. We are going to launch into the white suburbs like predator missiles with the anger and resentment of all the years that communism was suppressed in this country. Cut the malarkey, Jack.
Last night, the President of the United States gave the most demagogic, dangerous speech I've ever
Dude, that's hilarious.
heard from an American president, truly. And a lot of people out there right now on the left side of the aisle screaming about Donald Trump and his January 6th speech. I really hated Donald Trump's January 6th speech. But what Donald Trump did not do in that speech is declare that half the country was the enemy. He did not declare that half the country was fundamentally opposed.
That's really interesting that Ben says this because neither did Biden, which he should. I think he should because they are. And also, not only is half the country, not even half the country, but like, you know, all Republicans are kind of an enemy to the prosperity of America. Let's be real. It's true. It's just true. Ben Shapiro, greatest enemy of all time. If you are an accelerationist, okay, if you want America to fucking crumble, then vote Republican because they will ensure that it happens, okay? They will starve out the masses to a degree where, you know, there is no solution other than some kind of accelerated and potentially violent, not revolution, but, you know, like some kind of fascism that will inevitably crumble this empire. Brandon, on the other hand, was too big of a pussy to actually say it as it is. So he just did the classic, oh, well, not all Republicans, Jack. Some Republicans, a small percentage of Republicans are MAGA Republicans, right? Like he said that, but it doesn't matter.
He attacked, I thought wrongly, the quote unquote political elite who had skewed the election or whatever. But what he didn't do was label half the country, people who were just political opponents, his actual enemies. He didn't actually do that on January 6th. And when he talked about the press.
Yeah, no, totally, dude. Yeah, Donald Trump's January 6th speech was better than... He's like, I hated it, but it wasn't as bad. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Funny how Republicans are so offended at being called semi-fascists. You seen his Mehdi Hassan compilation of them doing the same? Bro, they're calling him a fascist while they're offended at the semi-fascist designation. That's what I'm saying. Like, there has never been a time in the history of the Republican machine where the Republican Party hasn't been like, Democrats want to kill your fucking children. They want to kill white people. They want to do white genocide. They're all pedophile vampires. Like, there's never been a time when they haven't said that. Okay, it's just pure hypocrisy, and they're also little babies, so just enjoy it. I love when Ben Shapiro's like, I didn't like what Trump had to say on January 6th, which was a literal fucking insurrection, a failed one, but still. But also, you know what's bad? When Biden said that guy and those actions are an inherent threat to American democracy. That is unacceptable. That's real fascism. What the fuck, dude? What do you mean? I mean, I don't like the fucking guy. I think Biden is a feckless conservative Democrat who has been really, really awful. Historically speaking, his tenure in the Senate has been god-awful to this fucking country. He is the architect of not only the crime control bill, which was devastating for so many marginalized communities, but he has had so many anti-drug, the war on drugs policies that he passed with actual literal white supremacists were horrifying. We are still reeling from the aftershock of said reactionary legislation. I hate him, but you're fucking ridiculous if you turn around and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that the Republicans are bad. He is saying half of the country is so bad. This is so divisive. This is so divisive. Suck my cock. There has never been a moment where you haven't been divisive. Calling that out adequately is actually appropriate. It's the one time when he's actually being correct. Ben Shapiro should never have the right to get upset at someone for their inflammatory rhetoric. Biden hit them with a fucking 3 out of 10 when he said some of these MAGA Republicans are a threat to American democracy. No, motherfucker. The Republican Party is a terror cell, perhaps the most prolific terror cell. The Democrats are too. Don't get me wrong. They're just not as good as the Republicans are. Democrats are a terror to the rest of the fucking planet with American imperialism. Republicans are a threat to the rest of the planet with American imperialism, which is a bipartisan thing, but also to America as well. Openly saying that the Republican Party is out of control and constituting a legitimate threat to America is not the wrong thing to say. And if you want to be critical of Brandon in that situation, you should be critical of the reality that he didn't go far enough. He didn't. He should be going way harder on these motherfuckers.
I want to begin with the image of the speech. This is going to be the takeaway image. Most people are not going to see the speech. Most people are not going to listen to the speech. There's going to be one takeaway image from the speech.
Unfollowed.
Presidential politics is all about image. It's all about imagistics. Whether you're talking about President Trump getting out of a helicopter and taking off his mask in the middle of COVID, or whether you are talking about Barack Obama standing on a giant stage flanked by the Greek Parthenon recreated in 2008. When you look at this image, the image that you're seeing right now of Joe Biden, This is the single.
It's aesthetics. You're crying about aesthetics. You're a lib. It's over. You're a lib. Everyone is a liberal. Everyone's a fucking liberal, dude. Look at that. Oh, look at the aesthetics of this. This is so damaging. This is so scary. It is a real picture. And what's funnier about this is that, like, yeah, aesthetically speaking, it does look fucking wild. It looks like a fucking Red Alert cutscene, right? It looks like a Command and Conquer cutscene. And I made this joke immediately last night when I saw it. But who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck. It wasn't Trump's aesthetics that were offensive to me. It was his actions. It was his policies. It's just so stupid. It's also red and blue, right? Isn't it? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because who the fuck cares? You love Trump's aesthetics. You compliment his bussy all the time. Yeah, I mean, I did like Trump's bussy. I mean, he had a fat one. He had a dumper. Hyper focusing on the aesthetics of a particular thing and having no consideration whatsoever for the legitimate actions or even the words that he's using and what the message he's trying to deliver is lib shit. If you're focusing on this kind of shit and you are hyperventilating over like, oh my God, it looks so scary, like, you're a bitch. You're a bitch. You're bitch made.
Worst piece of presidential image making I have ever seen in my entire life. This is an astonishingly bad image for the president of the United States, especially when he's declaring, I'm here in defense of democracy, and now I'm going to yell at you about how everyone who opposes me is an enemy of democracy. Let's count the ways in which this is a horrible piece of, I mean, first of all, let's compare it to some other images, just so you see how bad a piece of imagery this is. It's insane. How about General Lux from Star Trek, from Star Wars, The Force Awakens? It's the same image. We're talking about the blood red background. We're talking about the dark outfit, the blood red background, and the people in the background who are apparatchiks of the state. Okay, you are talking here about men.
Dude, this is literally like the most soy, the most bug men you could be, by the way. There is no more soy a moment than doing this, okay? This is just like my movies. This is just like my favorite movies. Oh my God. What is this? Oh, we're talking divisive backgrounds. That's a great tweet from Nina Turner. You don't understand, Nina. That's heritage, not hate. I mean, this is hyperventilating soy shit. Like, this is bat chesting. Okay, I cannot think of a more soy moment than hyperventilating over the RGB used behind Biden in an otherwise inoffensive speech. Everyone in American political media is an MCU-loving, Funko Pop collecting liberal at the end of the day. You are what you hate. You can't stop yourself, dude. You just can't. You are the same soy, okay? You are the same like, soy! Oh! This is just like my movies! That's what he's doing. Straight fucking feelings over facts, guy. Straight up.
When John Smith is first introduced in the Vauxhall in New York.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, it's this sort of imagery. The people who constructed this image, that was not Photoshop, that picture of Joe Biden.
Bro, you know what this is? This is literally the same as like liberals coming into my fucking stream and being like, did you see the rune shape that the CPAC convention hall had? That must be deliberate. I'm like, dude, do you fucking hear? Do you literally hear what they're saying? They're saying Nazi shit already. You don't need to like look at the fucking rune shape of the stage to be like, I wonder if these guys saying the 14 words are actually Nazis. I can't tell because there's a Nordic rune shape on the stage. It's the same exact shit, bro.
They not photoshopped him. I mean, Scar from Lion King. It's insane. What are they doing? The answer, by the way, that means V for Vendetta. It is all the dictators that you have ever seen in film or on screen, basically rolled into one and then wrapped into an image. What is his team doing? What is his team doing? Well, I think the answer is they're a very online team. The people who work for him, they spend all day on Twitter. Over the past few weeks, there's been this idea that Dark Brandon is rising. Dark Brandon, of course, is that meme that originally started in China of Joe Biden.
In China. Yeah, doesn't that, you're owned. You're saying that like literally the Chinese government is afraid of Brandon, that they're saying he's like vicious.
Sitting on a throne made of guns with his lit up eyes, backlit by flames. You know, he's evil. I think that his team was like, you know what? That was such a cool image, man. It went viral online. Let's just recreate that in real life. And so you end up with this. You end up with the actual picture of Joe Biden. Let's go back to the original. You end up with the actual picture of Joe Biden in this picture. Behind him is Independence Hall, the site of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, blood red. And behind him are two American Marines who are in shadow, except for their white gloved hands. And behind him, there's a pale light that looks like, because of the way this is lit, it looks like the throne room of the Emperor from Return of the Jedi. It's the worst piece of presidential image making ever.
Oh my God, he's so fucking triggered, dude. Just call it out. Never address the aesthetics of the Brandon thing. Be like, it looks cool, shut the fuck up, you're a dumb bitch. And call out how these guys are hyperventilating over this. Dude, he's like quaking in his fucking boots. What do you think he's gonna do, man? He's 900 years old. What do you think he's gonna do? He's gonna kill you? Is that what you think?
So it'll be red and black, like the fascist color pattern. Let's do that. And then what if we...
Okay, first of all, red and black, not the fascist color pattern. Red and black would be, they're not... why is he not doing the red is for communism shit? That would be way cooler if he did that, I think, because it is. Red is communism.
And then what if we put a couple of Marines behind him to look like military force is what is backing him? This is a taxpayer-sponsored event, by the way. You paid for this. So Joe Biden gave a speech, and the speech was designed to attack all of his political opponents and treat them as enemies of the state. That's what this...
Bro, Trump literally campaigned as the president. Like, he did campaign stops regularly, okay? You cannot say this. He set the stage. What the fuck are you talking about? And to be honest, like, I think Biden is too big of a fucking pussy to do that anyway. Biden is too big of a pussy to actually do, good campaigning like Trump did for the Republican Party.
I think in a very cynical way, because Joe Biden basically gave you two messages. One, everyone who opposes me is an enemy of the state. And two, violence is wrong. The basic idea here is to raise the temperature. I think this is more likely to result in acts of violence that Joe Biden is then going to use as a case to run in 2022 and 2024. I mean, this is extraordinarily dark stuff. Okay, we haven't even gotten to the content of the speech. Just the imagery alone is extraordinary. There's a reason that satanic, demonic, and pure evil were all trending on Twitter last night because...
Oh my God,
man, oh man.
It was trending on Twitter. People were saying he's demonic. Soy. It was trending on Twitter. Soy.
The imagery associated with the speech. And you know what? It fits well within the rhetoric of the speech too. Because what Joe Biden said last night is, as I say, the most dangerous thing I have seen an American president say about half the country ever.
That's the most dangerous thing he's ever heard an American president say, by the way. Is this what not having a legitimate argument looks like? Yes. This is exactly what not having a legitimate argument looks like. But also, he is now 6 minutes in, okay? We're beyond the halfway point. Now he's finally going to fucking say something about the speech itself, right? Except there's not really anything you can pick apart in that speech as well. So he's just going to say like, oh, it's so dangerous. It's the most divisive. Republicans have claimed that the Democrats have always been divisive for a very long time. Even under the Trump administration, they did that. It's just cry bullying. That's it. He's going to say Biden is divisive because he said that all Republicans are bad. Meanwhile, he didn't even say that. He just said that Trumpism is a dangerous form. We want a good Republican Party. We want a strong Republican Party. We want a fucking Republican Party that cares about America, but just has a difference in opinion, which is stupid because that Republican Party has never existed. Conservatives do not care about good shit. I warn all persons aiding and abetting or comforting the perpetrators of the aforesaid treasonable acts and require all officers and citizens to exert their utmost endeavors to prevent and suppress such dangerous proceedings. Washington, 1794. Wow, that's crazy.
The President of the United States going out there and saying that the half of the country that disagrees with, he has a 38% approval rating, half the country, more than half, that disagrees with him. That these are people who are associated with...
Bro, Trump had a fucking sub 30. That was literally worse. Like, what the fuck do you mean? And also, Brandon is rising up. Let's be real. Brandon is rising up right now. Rise up, Brandon. He's hitting above 40 now. He's swinging, dude.
He speaks about his fellow Americans the way that George W. Bush spoke about Al-Qaeda. So let's actually go through the speech now. We're going to go through it in real detail. Here he was at the very beginning, and Jill is walking him out to the podium because he now needs to be walked from place to place as our president. And here's what it sounded and looked like.
Wait, why are they... I mean, this doesn't look that... He's just walking normal. What the fuck?
So there he is. I mean, he can barely walk. She's leading him out there.
Wait, what?
If this doesn't feel like the death of the Republic to you, I don't know what would. He's in...
Bro, come on. What are you doing? Ben, what are you doing, bro? There's so much better shit. There's so much better shit that don't... Bro, this dude is dying, okay? He is literally like a walking corpse. Why did you use the one time you found him actually walking normally, dude? What the fuck? Yo, it's harder to find Joe Biden walking in a fucking normal fashion. And for some reason, Ben could find one time, the one fucking time, he's on camera walking weirdly all the time. This is the one instance where he's like walking normal and he's like, look at him.
He starts off.
I speak to you tonight from sacred ground in America. Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is where America made its Declaration of Independence to the world more than 2 centuries ago with an idea that in America, we're all created equal.
But as you can see, this was angry Biden. So he continues with what he says are the real message of America. What is the soul? He said he was going to speak about the soul of the nation in front of a blood red background in satanic.
We the people, these two documents and the ideas they embody, equality and democracy, are the rock upon which this nation is built.
Okay, so the very basis of his speech, that equality and democracy are the key values of the United States, but he's actually using the wrong language. Because when he says equality, what he means is equity. Right? He's made this very, very clear throughout his presidency. Equity means equality of outcome. It does not mean that you have equal rights under the Constitution. That is not what he cares about. He cares about equality of outcome. And if you oppose that, you're against equality. And when he says democracy, as it turns out, he does not mean...
Dude, he's so triggered, dude. I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is like semantics. It's language policing. He's picking apart like some of the most innocuous, insignificant parts of this to be like, dude, it's so crazy. That's so crazy. He said equity. He said equity. He wants equality of outcome. This is communism. It's so... I don't know what to say. I don't know why he's like losing his fucking shit over this. I mean, I guess he has to make content for this. Like, this is what he has to do. They were able to convince everyone that Donald Trump didn't mean what he said, so they're doing the same thing with Biden. You can't even do anything because Biden is so fucking boring. That's the problem. Biden is not offering enough content to the Republicans to fucking lose their shit over. So they're losing their shit over some of the most like ridiculous, insignificant bullshit. Like, oh man, I can't believe he said equality. That's unacceptable. You know what? You know who else wanted equality? Communists. At the top of the hour, equally, communists want everyone to see the 6-second ad break.
As democracy, as it turns out, he does not mean the kind of republicanism, small r republicanism, that is discussed in the Constitution of the United States. The truth is, if you look at the Declaration of Independence...
Yeah, no, totally. That's a fun little substitution. Okay, that's like small d democratism, like the Democratic Party. I love that. Thank you, Ben. He's saying like the true nature of American democracy is not democracy, like the small d democracy is in the name, but republicanism. You know, the one that the Republican Party upholds, which is also in the name.
The Constitution of the United States. The key messages, truly, are liberty and republicanism. Not equality and democracy.
Yeah, no, not equality. America's never been about equality or democracy, actually. It's bullshit. Why would you say America's about democracy and equality? Do you think someone cares about this? Are you out of your fucking mind? Come on, this is just team sports. The only people that will look at this fucking nerd slobbering all over this shit, losing his fucking mind, are going to be actual annoying weirdos, just like just as annoying as Ben. This has real young Republican debate club energy, okay? Yeah, technically America is not a democracy. Its values have never been about equality and democracy. It's like, bro, those are positive values regardless of how you try to say America is not about that. Like, good luck cutting an argument saying that America is about like upholding Republican values of the Republic and not about fucking democracy and equality. What are you saying right now?
Equality and democracy are hallmarks of the French Revolution. Because in the French Revolution, the whole idea was that it was égalité, liberté, fraternité. It was pure democracy.
Damn, you're saying Biden's gay and French. Okay, that's unacceptable. He brought it back.
The founders very much feared the idea of mob rule.
Mob rule. Democracy is mob rule.
Culminating in a powerful centralized figure who's able to do whatever he wanted without any of the checks and boundaries of the Constitution of the United States. That's what they feared. And that's what Joe Biden represents. So understand, when he says equality and democracy, you're hearing equality of rights and democratic Republican rule under the checks and balances of the Constitution. That's not what he means. What he means by equality and democracy is something very different. He means equity and mob rule. Those are the things that he's actually standing for. But again, what he's doing is he's hijacking. This whole speech was about hijacking traditional American images and turning them on their head. Equality and democracy, if you are in favor of a limited government, equality of right.
I mean, he's just saying democracy is not good. Like, he openly said it. I don't need to like address it. I don't need to tell you that is a psychotic thing to say. Ben is doing it for me. So I don't even feel the need to address this at this point, right? Like, we all get what he's saying. He's saying democracy is not good. Democracy is mob rule. Okay, well, if you are considering majoritarian rule, the democratic rule, to be mob rule, then you're advocating for what? The tyranny of minority, a minoritarian government, which of course, yes, that is what Ben is advocating for. That is also low-key, what the founding fathers did want. They wanted only only white men who own land to be able to fucking vote. That's part of the reason why they made the Senate the way it is, right? That's why they had the Electoral College. That was straight up true. That is what they wanted. But theoretically speaking, the way that we promote American democracy is not by pointing out those things. As a matter of fact, when I point out those things, Ben will turn around and say, that's bad. You're doing CRT. You're doing critical race theory. You know, I don't know what else to say about this. Like, yeah, Ben and I are in agreement that the founding fathers were kind of dog shit. I mean, well, he doesn't think that. He thinks that they were good for wanting to undermine democratic rule.
I believe in the give and take of politics, in disagreement and debate and dissent. We're a big, complicated country, but democracy endures only if we, the people, respect the guardrails of the republic. Only if we, the people, accept the results of free and fair elections. Only if we, the people, see politics not as total war, but mediation of our differences. Democracy cannot survive when one side believes there are only two outcomes to an election. Either they win or they were cheated. And that's where the MAGA Republicans are today.
You spent four...
Bro, you can't even fucking say that Republicans are like shitty losers that fucking cry foul and cry to the refs when they lose the game without every Republican who is literally doing that turning around and being like, that's fascism. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you called it out as it is. That's literally fascism. Like, dude, then don't be a fucking bitch. Don't be so bitch-made and fucking cry about the elections being stolen nonstop. Tom Cotton literally said, ranked choice voting is fucking a theft because there were two Republican candidates and they split the fucking vote and a Democrat won in Alaska. So now they're saying ranked choice voting is bad. It blows my fucking mind. I mean, they're pretty obviously and very openly stating that, like, anytime a Democrat wins, this election is going to be stolen. Okay? They're going to say that over and over again. I mean, they're saying it. They will continue saying it. It doesn't even matter. And it's not new. Donald Trump didn't actually invent this method. This has been a foundational plank of Republican messaging strategy for a very long time, claiming that the American elections are always stolen by undocumented immigrants in an effort to justify more voter suppression methods for a very long time. This is what the Republicans have been doing. It's the best way to create a problem where no such problem exists, specifically so you can turn around and say we need to take action against this problem that doesn't exist, by the way, and calling that out as a bad thing and calling that out as like legitimately a threat to whatever the American democracy is supposed to be is not divisive. It's just the truth. You can't say the truth is divisive, okay? Because it hurts your fucking feelings. That's ridiculous.
For years and tens of millions of dollars on the theory that either Hillary Clinton won or you were cheated. I'm sorry, Democrats have not accepted the results of a presidential election.
That's not true. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. That is complete bullshit. As much as I hate the fucking blue anon, like, oh, Russiagate psychopathic nonsense, they still fucking took the L. Hillary called and conceded the night of. What the fuck are you talking about? The things that Donald Trump did are incomprehensible in comparison to what Hillary Clinton did. She's a fucking loser. She sucks. But if you use the poll that you're going to show right now, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. He's going to say like, oh, if you ask the Democrats, like, was Hillary cheated? Yes, an overwhelming majority of Democrats said that. The idea that the Democratic Party across the board did not immediately concede and follow along with the regular procedure of the elections is so ridiculous, though.
Since about 1988, they thought the 2000 election was stolen. They did not accept
It was legitimately, that was legit. That was stolen. A riot happened. It's called the Brooks Brothers riot. Jeb Bush, the brother of the person who was running for fucking president, George W. Bush, literally held up the process. They were fucked up ballots. And Republicans, some of who are literally on the Supreme Court now, went in physically and body blocked the people at the polling station from counting the ballots. That is insanity. That is a real thing that happened. Why are we acting like that's not a real thing that happened? What the fuck?
You can't love your country only when you win. It's fundamental. American democracy only works only if we choose to respect the rule of law and the institutions that were set up in this chamber behind me.
Wow. Terrifying. Unacceptable. Can you imagine a president saying this? Unacceptable.
Only if we respect our legitimate political differences. I will not stand by and watch.
Bro, he's literally saying you got to respect our legitimate political differences, which, by the way, also implies like the same for the Democratic Party too. Like he's saying we got to respect the Republican Party's legitimate political differences. It's so stupid. First of all, their differences are not even legitimate, okay? Even in the fucking argument that Ben is trying to cut, saying like this is so divisive, Brandon is literally still being like, yo, we got some differences in opinion, Jack.
When he says, this line is so amazing coming from the Democrats. You can't love democracy only when you win. You know what the polls show? The polls show over and over and over again that Republicans remain patriotic. They say they love the country, even when Democrats win.
I'm sorry. You are such a lame ass, dude. Polls show that 9 out of 10 Republicans love the country, even when Democrats win. Like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? What legitimate poll is looking at this? Like, what does a Republican think is a patriotic value versus what does anyone else think is a patriotic value? Half the Republican Party's assessment of what patriotism is probably might not even align with yours, you dumb bitch. Shut the fuck up. That's such a dumb poll. God, this is so bad. This is like the worst kind of argument you could ever fucking conduct. Has nothing to do with like Brandon and his speech anyway.
Democrats change their opinions on how much they love the country based almost solely on when they are winning and losing. This has been a long-time feature of American politics. This is true under...
Bro, Republicans tried to do an insurrection, man. What the fuck are you saying? They literally lost and then turned around and stormed Congress, bro. What the fuck? Who gives a shit if they're like, yeah, I'm patriotic, brother? They also say heritage, not hate when it comes to the fucking Confederate flag. Who gives a shit? It's actually a patriotic insurrection, hypothetically. Also, the president was Republican at the time when they did the insurrection. So maybe they don't love their country that much.
When he says that we have to work to respect the rule of law and the institutions that were set up in the chamber, he despises those institutions. He has called for the end of the filibuster, for example. He is somebody who says that the Supreme Court of the United States is not doing its job unless it just greenlights what he is doing. He has done stuff he himself has declared illegal, but he's an institutionalist, don't you know? I mean, this is gaslighting at the very, very highest level. And again, when he says that there are people in this country who are attempting to suppress the right to vote, that is such a lie. What exactly is the evidence that he has that millions of votes are being not counted and thrown out? It was Republican officials in Georgia who certified the election. It was Republican officials in Arizona who certified the election. It was Republican officials in Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania who certified the election. It was Vice President Mike Pence who certified the election.
Wait, yeah, exactly. Wait, so he agrees with, oh God, he's such a fucking lib, dude. He's hopped up on liberalism. I mean, he's right. That's what Biden says too. Wait, Ben is upset at Biden while simultaneously agreeing with the underlying message from the Brandon camp, which is exactly what he said. There are good Republicans out there, but the MAGA Republicans, the Trump Republicans are fucking crazy. They're undermining the election. They're undermining the results of the election. They're undermining democracy, whatever. That's exactly what Brandon said.
The vice president to Donald Trump. It was Mitch McConnell who certified the election. But he labels all those people MAGA Republicans.
That's not true. No, he doesn't. He should, but he doesn't because he's a pussy. Why are you, what?
Okay, so here I think we should point out that about 2/3 of the way through the speech, there was a guy in a bullhorn who was audible on the audio, and what he was screaming was F Joe Biden. And that's what he was screaming. And Joe Biden says that the darkest moments of our history are the things coming out of that bullhorn.
He just tried to freestyle, brother. It's not the worst thing. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure that you guys understand, like, Biden, here's how fucking tepid the speech was.
MAGA Republican. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these
So incredibly divisive, dude.
mainstream Republicans. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
By the way, Donald Trump has 90% approval in the Republican Party, like throughout his entire presidency. So just like remember that Donald Trump has always had and has maintained a 90% plus approval in the Republican Party throughout his entire presidency, significantly higher than the Democratic Party's approval of Joe Biden. So just understand that. Just remember that. It is fucking ridiculous saying that like, oh, it's different. This is different. This is different. It's not fucking different. I'm just letting you know. The clip with the bullhorn.
Throughout our history, America's often made the greatest progress coming out of some of our darkest moments, like you're hearing in that bullhorn. I believe we can and must do that again, and we are. But as fellow Americans, look, our democracy isn't perfect. It always has been. Notwithstanding those folks you hear on the other side there, they're entitled to be outrageous. This is a democracy. But history...
He's literally saying, dude, he's so fucking lame, dude. Like, he's literally saying they're entitled to do that. Oh, by the way, that was the other big clip chimp. It's like red, white, and blue for the record. Like, the door is white, it's red on the sides, and then blue for America, but they only saw the red, so everyone was like freaking out over it. It's like, what's that thing? Like, there are so many examples of this in like old school comics even, where it'll be like a guy that's like, it looks like the shadow is stabbing someone, but actually when you fucking... And that's what the media looks at.
When he says, well, I mean, again,
okay, this is boring. We're done with this.